You just bought something you cannot afford. Maybe it was the watch. Maybe it was the car. You told yourself it was an investment, a reward, a necessity. But somewhere underneath that story, a much older voice was speaking. And it was not talking about money at all. Here is the strange part. You did not buy that thing for yourself. Not really. You bought it for someone else's eyes. Think about the last expensive thing you purchased. Did you buy it in private and never mention it to anyone? Or did it come with a photo, a post, a moment where someone else had to see it? For most people, the second answer is the honest one. The object was never really the point. The audience was. In 1899, an economist named Thorstein Veblen noticed something odd about the wealthy families of his era. They were not simply spending money. They were spending it loudly. Useless things, impractical things, clothes you could not work in, shoes you could not walk far in. Veblen gave this behavior a name that still gets used today: conspicuous consumption. Spending whose entire purpose is to be seen, not used. But Veblen only described the symptom. He never explained the disease. Why would a human brain, shaped by millions of years of survival pressure, care so much about being watched while spending? Shouldn't evolution have built a brain obsessed with food, shelter, and safety? Why does it seem just as obsessed with appearances? To understand this, you have to leave the world of money completely. You have to go to the animal kingdom and look at something that makes no logical sense at all. The peacock's tail. A peacock's tail is a walking liability. It is heavy, it is bright, it attracts predators from far away. By every rule of survival, it should have been eliminated by evolution generations ago. And yet it persists, more elaborate with every generation. Why would nature build something so wasteful? A biologist finally solved the riddle in the 1970s. He proposed something called the handicap principle. The tail is not a flaw. It is the entire message. Only an exceptionally strong, healthy peacock could survive while dragging around something so impractical. The uselessness is not an accident. The uselessness is the proof. Now, hold that idea for a moment and look back at the watch on your wrist or the car in your driveway. An expensive object that serves no extra function beyond a cheaper version is not a mistake either. It is a signal. It says, I can afford to waste this much and still be fine. That is a peacock's tail. This is where an evolutionary psychologist enters the story. Miller spent years studying how human spending patterns mirror animal courtship displays. His research suggests that much of what looks like modern consumer behavior is actually an ancient mating and status display, repackaged in credit cards and shopping malls. You are not just a shopper. You are, whether you like it or not, a display animal. But here is where it gets stranger. You do not need a real audience for this instinct to activate. Your brain reacts as if strangers online are just as important as your actual tribe standing 3 feet away from you. Tens of thousands of years of evolution did not prepare your brain for a phone screen with thousands of anonymous eyes on it. Your ancient signaling system does not know the difference between real community and rented attention. So the modern economy discovered something incredibly profitable. If it could make you feel like you were always being watched, it could make you spend like you were always being watched too. Now, ask yourself a harder question. Why does this desire to look successful hit hardest exactly when you feel the least secure? An economist studied this pattern for decades, and he found something almost cruel about it. The less financially secure people feel, the more they tend to spend on visible status symbols, not less. It sounds backwards? It is not. Because the purchase was never really about the money. It was about closing an uncomfortable gap between how you feel inside and how you want to be seen outside. Feeling poor and looking poor are two very different kinds of pain. And for a surprising number of people, looking poor is the one that hurts more. Think about your ancestors for a moment. For most of human history, status was not an accessory. Status determined who ate first when food was scarce. Status determined who got protection when danger came close. Status even determined who got chosen as a mate and who did not. In that world, appearing weak or poor was not embarrassing. It was dangerous. It could be the difference between surviving the winter and not.
Love the content? Drop a like and subscribe. Your support keeps me motivated to drop more valuable content for you.